we kind of embark on this journey and we end up right back where we started. First, like what I'm suggesting is to retract your attention, right? And what that is like you could say, inward movement. In Advaita, they call it Advaita Vedanta. Even though it's not inward because you don't have a location, yourself is non-local. We just say inward because it's like a movement toward self. So this retraction of attention that we've been talking about is the inward path. It's also the inward path to, for example, focus on the sense of being, or focus on the I am or presence. All of these are inward paths. And so that's one side. That's one of the truths, one of the two truths of being. Then when we've established that and how that feels, or how you know you've done that, is throughout, no matter what happens in your experience, there's something that knows itself as beyond this throughout. So I'm not saying this is the final, we're not done yet, but for example, that I am the witness of everything that's happening. There's a detachment from the subjective reality, so detachment from life, like the experiences and the character of the person, the personality, and you have an identity as something, as a facet. So you have an identity as the I am. So you say, oh wow, I realize that I'm just a sense of being. I've always just been the sense of being. I don't need to focus on any of this stuff anymore. No, I have no problems. And that's the initial awakening that many people think, okay, I'm done. When actually you're not. You're kind of on top of the mountain, but you still need to walk down, and that's what we'll talk about now. So that by checking, okay, do I always know myself as something other than what's in the manifest? So some people may know themselves as awareness, like I said. Some people may know themselves as the I am, a sense of being. My point is that you have stepped back from experience. You feel a clear distance, and things don't sway you as much as they did before. And you're also simultaneously exploring certain traits of this thing. So if you identify now as awareness, you realize, wow, I'm actually limitless, and I can't believe I thought I was a person, and all that. So that's the one side. Now, there's the other side of Advaita called Advaita Tantra. And, contrary to what people believe about Tantra, it's not this one-dimensional, thing, subject to touchy subject. It's actually when you come back down this non-dual mountain and begin to integrate your human beingness back into the realization. So you think that you're taking what you had at the top of the mountain. You kind of think, Senna, you found this pot of gold, and this pot of gold is called I'm awareness, and you're ready to take the pot of gold down the mountain. But every step you take down the mountain, it's like a bar of gold falls out your basket with every step. So as you go down this mountain, you begin to integrate. This is when these paradoxes start to clash. You start to realize, but what is going on? Like, I thought I was awareness, but how come I'm still getting individual thoughts? Why am I still affected by the loss of a loved one? Why can't I suppress my grief, even though I'm formless awareness? All of these things happen as we're kind of trotting down the mountain. And that's what I'm referring to as this like loss of the gold blocks. It's like you start to think, oh my God, I'm not actually what I thought I was on top of the mountain. I'm actually something else. I'm not human, and I'm not awareness, because awareness, or whatever I found myself to be, that identification that had that hyper focus on when we went inward for so much, starts to lose its integrity, structural integrity. And then this is the product, the paradoxes that begin to clash. The human against your new identity, like going ka, 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 ka. And eventually you realize, oh, I'm upholding something. I was placing focus on something. So I had retracted myself too much. Even though it's necessary, we need to do it. But it's a realization in hindsight, like, oh, I actually took too much onto my identity. And now we shed even the identity of the formless quality we believed ourselves to be. And again, to quote Rupert, I've heard him say, awareness, true nature, anything that you can identify with that changes your experience is simply a thorn to remove a thorn. So we douse our experience in awareness or being to dilute our identification with form. And then when we're at the bottom of the mountain, so to speak, we've lost all our goal. We're as poor as we ever were before we ascended the mountain. But yet, we are no longer a thing.